Northern Ireland, we're privileged to be surrounded by nature. Our landscapes are filled with reminders of our rich natural and cultural heritage. And a simple walk can reveal birds, insects, plants, castles, churches, and even standing stones. But did you know that the Irish landscape also holds secrets to a much more ancient past? Traces of once living creatures that are millions of years old. We call these traces of ancient life fossils. This word conjures up images of the iconic giant Irish deer and remarkable bog bodies, but these archaeological remains are usually only thousands of years old and are preserved within the bogs and other young glacial sediments that formed soon after the last ice age. Fossils, on the other hand, are locked inside layers of rock that can be millions of years old, or in some cases even billions of years old. We can tell how old these rocks are by measuring the amount of radioactive elements that are locked inside the rocks or inside the fossils themselves. And because we know the rate at which these amounts change, those radioactive elements act as a clock that tells geological time. We divide this deep history of time into different geological epochs and periods. In Irish rocks, the fossil record stretches back over 530 million years to the Cambrian period, when the first animals appeared. These star-shaped markings on the rocks from Bray Head are some of the oldest fossils in Ireland. They were made by tiny worm-like animals as they burrowed through the mud at the bottom of the sea. Ireland has an extremely rich fossil record stretching forwards from the Cambrian period to the later part of the Carboniferous period, about 300 million years ago. This is because Ireland, or large parts of it, was once covered by the sea for over 200 million years. Younger rocks from the Permian, Mesozoic and the Cenozoic periods are rare in Ireland because most of the country was dry land during that time, and these are conditions where rocks are slow to form. Mesozoic rocks do, however, crop out in Ulster, where you can find the bones of giant marine reptiles and even dinosaurs. Now, the amazing thing about the fossil record is that all forms of life can be fossilised, from tiny cells of prehistoric bacteria through to enormous sauropod dinosaurs. All forms of life can turn into fossils. Our planet's rocks are an incredible archive of life on Earth and help us understand how life began on our planet and how it has changed over millions of years. But how do fossils form? When a living creature dies, if it lives in a watery habitat such as the sea or a lake or river, its body eventually sinks to the bottom. The soft body parts, such as muscles and internal organs, usually rot away, leaving only the bones or the shell. Over time, the skeleton is covered by more sand and mud and is gradually buried and compacted by the pressure of the overlying rocks. As the skeleton is buried further, the rocks get warmer, and water present in spaces in the rock can chemically react with the fossil remains, sometimes helping to preserve them. Eventually, the rocks and any fossils inside are lifted back up to the Earth's surface, where, if we're lucky, we can find them. Now, fossils can be preserved in many different ways. Sometimes the original bone or shell can be preserved, but in other fossils it is replaced by other minerals such as pyrite or silica. Then, sometimes the bone or shell gets dissolved away completely, leaving just an imprint in the rock.
But even these imprints can be really useful and can be studied just like other fossils. The fossil record also contains other evidence of the history of life. These squiggly marks were made by animals as they tunnelled through the soft mud on the sea floor. We call these marks trace fossils. And here in Ireland, we can see other types of trace fossils, such as trails, which are drag marks made by the body of an animal, and trackways, which are made by animal footprints.
People often think that fossils are extremely rare and are therefore hard to find, but that's not the case. We can find fossils in the rocks along our shores, in fields and mountains, in quarries, stone walls, and even in our buildings and pavements. In fact, you can find fossils all over Ireland. Here at Ireland's Fossil Heritage, we have developed an interactive map that shows you where you can go to find fossils in the outdoors and in the building stones of our towns and cities.
You don't need any equipment to find fossils, so what are you waiting for? And remember, if you do find some fossils, take a photograph and send it to us on email or using social media. And last of all, if you find fossils, please leave them in place for the next person to enjoy.